What if I told you that the bulk of feminine energy content that you're being sold is a lie? That's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be dismantling one of the biggest lies ever sold to women about feminine energy. This episode will be passionate, direct, and deeply liberating and healing, especially for my neurodivergent ADHD women, my huntress-coded women, my fast-moving creatives, my intuitives, and my alpha feminine leaders. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Nikki. I'm an initiated high priestess, witch, psychic medium, and a spiritista. And I teach spirituality, inner work, metaphysics, divine feminine embodiment, spirit guides, and all about the dark feminine. If that resonates with you, definitely go ahead and subscribe and also tap the notification bell so that we can stay connected. But again, what if I told you that you've been lied to about what feminine energy actually is? Most women, especially neurodivergent women, were raised on a very narrow, very sanitized version of femininity. Softness, slow, delicate, quiet, passive, receptive, Disney princess coded. And if you don't fit that mold all the time, because we're not meant to, you were probably like me and you were labeled chaotic, impulsive, too sensitive, dramatic, too much, crazy, or even masculine. But here's the truth. Your nervous system is not a flaw, it's a feminine weapon. Women with active sympathetic nervous systems, ADHD women, fast-moving women, creative women, women who feel everything intensely, are not broken. We are embodiments of the huntress archetype. And there are two major traps right now that society is pushing women into. Trap number one is the soft girl, the trad wife, the hyper-passive feminine. This is the be provided for, don't work because that's too masculine. Stay soft, stay small, stay quiet, stay dependent archetype. And yes, softness is very sacred. I'm a very soft woman on the inside. Anyone close to me will tell you that. But softness without boundaries is not feminine. Softness without structure is not feminine, and neither is softness without protection. That's not divine feminine energy, that's feminine disempowerment, and sometimes even a fawn response. Trap number two is the boss babe, hyper-independent, masculine-coded woman. This is the never need a man, do everything yourself, grind, hustle, dominate, provide for yourself at all costs archetype. And yes, ambition is very sacred, but ambition without softness is not feminine. Ambition without intuition is not feminine either. And most importantly, neither is ambition without connection. That's not divine feminine energy, that's feminine burnout. And so you see these two very clear opposite ends of the spectrum. Trap number one, the soft life trope, is feminine with no masculine energy. And then trap number two on the opposite end is a woman overly using her masculine energy and lacking her feminine. So what about those of us that are in the middle, right? This is where women like us live. We are not soft life dolls. We are not hyper-masculine CEOs. We are the huntress. We are fast-moving, intuitive, emotionally deep, spiritually gifted and attuned, creative, active, passionate, boundary-driven, and alpha-coded. I've said this many times, and I'm going to keep telling y'all, the ADHD gene is also called the alpha gene. And currently, the last study that I saw, only 10% of the world's population carries this gene. So that means about 5% women, 5% men. We are the hunters and the warriors. That is why ADHD is now being described as an evolutionary trait. Okay? It's actually an advantage if you can learn how to lean into it. But women like us who can move quickly and feel deeply, we are women who can create wealth and surrender and love. We can create wealth for ourselves and also be provided for. We are women who can both lead and be held. We are women whose womb energy can make millions, and whose nervous system is wired for creation, not chaos, and not a container that suffocates our energy. And I want to talk about something that took me a very long time to figure out. Most people think that sympathetic activation of your nervous system is only fight or flight. That's wrong. Sympathetic activation also includes creativity, passion, movement, hunting, pursuing, building, expressing. That's feminine fire, feminine creation, feminine power. And women like us are not masculine, we are misunderstood feminines. Okay? And I'm going to give y'all my personal story to give you some real context of how this manifests in real life. When my father passed away, I had hundreds of thousands of dollars at my disposal because my daddy, who was also an alpha, and that's where I get the huntress DNA from, did the divine masculine thing of making sure that I was provided for in the tragic event of his death, which unfortunately happened when I was 21. And he left behind an inheritance to me, and so did my grandfather. And I fell into the soft life trap because of my grief and also lack of inner masculine energy. I stayed in bed, and if I did get up, it was to go shopping every day. For 2.5, maybe 3 years, almost every single day, I was shopping and I was doing my witchcraft and my rituals. And I had hundreds of thousands in the bank. I was wealthy. I had the soft life. I wanted for nothing. But I was grieving. I was unstructured, unprotected because I lost my protector, my dad, and I had no boundaries. And because I didn't have my masculine energy developed, because truth be told, I never had to, because my dad was my container and he had so much divine masculine energy that he just let me be a woman. And nobody fucked with me. Thank God I never really dealt with predators growing up, because everyone knew my dad and knew that if they tried to hurt me, they would be handled either by him or he would pay someone else to do it. True story, he did that once. Kneecaps got busted. But I never had to develop my masculine energy. But then he passed, and I lost it. And because I didn't have that inner masculine, my shell, my structure, my boundaries, I attracted predators after his death. One after the other. I lost money, I lost time, and I lost myself. And in the end, I lost everything. And even though I was proposed to 4 times, my huntress said no. My alpha said no, and my womb said no. Because my higher self stepped in and was like, you are not going to do this to yourself. You are not meant to be controlled. Because I was never meant to be a passive feminine. I was meant to be a siren, a huntress, a priestess feminine. And here's the truth. Feminine energy is creation. It's not passivity or excessive softness or slowness. It's creation, intuition, movement, life force, womb, power, magnetism, dark feminine fire. And when you understand all of this, you stop trying to fit into the boxes that society built to keep you small. And they'll call you masculine because the ability to work, create, build, earn, provide, has historically truly only been available to men, right? And if we were allowed to build or create or whatever, it was creating children or building things for men and giving them our ideas and not getting paid for it. Women have always worked, but we've never always gotten paid. fairly at least. So when women do these things, these so-called masculine traits, especially feminine women, society doesn't know what to call us. But you are not masculine. You are feminine with access to your earth and your fire, and that is so sacred and so necessary. Okay? And this episode is your permission slip to reclaim your speed, your intensity, your creativity, ambition, your boundaries, your huntress energy, your womb power, and your dark feminine. And it's a reminder that you are not too much. You are exactly the amount of woman that you were designed to be. And as an old soul, I've been doing what I now call inner work since 12 years old. And for a very long time, I was anxious and depressed. And it was because I was trying to be like everyone else, naturally, and understandably so, because my whole life people, literally everyone except my dad and my grandparents on his side, everyone else had made me feel like there was something wrong with me. Because I was sensitive and creative and fast-moving, right? And when I wanted something, I was relentless. That's where that huntress comes in. But I will never forget, about maybe 8-9 months ago, I had gone to a routine doctor's appointment with my primary care physician, and everything was fine, but we were just talking about, little tweaks that I needed to make in my health, just so that I could be happier. And that conversation that I had with my doctor made me realize, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just different. I'm sensitive. My system is very sensitive, but that's a gift. And once you realize and accept that it's a gift, and you stop trying to be like the masses, you can actually take better care of yourself because you're willing to understand yourself. Because you're going to expend energy either way. Whether you try to be like everyone else and trying to make other people happy because they're saying that there's something wrong with you, whole time they're not even fucking happy with themselves and have lives that you don't want. Or you can take that same amount of effort and energy and work and put it into understanding yourself and your heart, mind, body, and spirit. And I promise you, the second one will compound and be the best return on investment you've ever seen. It is so much easier. And as an ADHD woman, society is not made for us. It's one thing to have ADHD. It's another to be a female with this makeup. Because it manifests a lot of different ways. But the best thing that I ever did for myself was just accept how God made me. Because there's, I can't change my brain structure. I can't change my DNA. I have the huntress gene, aka ADHD. That's not going to change. And I've seen so much more benefits and blessings come my way. The more that I lean into who I am and not who this world has tried to make me become. Because like I said, I was anxious and depressed for years trying to stay small and people please and make people comfortable because my intensity was not harmful to anyone, but it still made them uncomfortable. And leaning into that is the best decision I've ever made. Okay? So if you're like me and you're very feminine, I have 80% feminine energy naturally. And I've had to really strengthen that 20% masculine. But what I do is I lean into my huntress DNA, which is a dark feminine archetype. And y'all will hear me say over and over that your dark feminine is just your inner masculine. I make that 20% very strong. And it allows my intuition, my creative energy, my love, my nurturing, my softness to all be supported and protected and held and have support. I use the analogy of the river a lot, right? When we talk about masculine and feminine energy. The feminine energy is the river and the water, and the masculine is the riverbed, the structure that holds the water. What happens if that riverbed gets destroyed? The whole town gets flooded. And that's exactly energetically what happened to me when my daddy passed away. I was chaos, water everywhere with no boundaries. And I'm telling y'all, like, I know that the feminine has a lot of trauma due to the masculine. And so, like, years ago, when someone told me that I needed to make this shift and strengthen my masculine energy, I was very resentful. I was very resistant. I was very, not happy about it. Like, I think my TT told me this when I was 22. I didn't start leaning into this until I was 26. And in those 4 years, my life fell apart. So, as very feminine women, we can have this resistance, like, I don't want to have masculine energy. That's a trauma response. Because of all the oppression that the masculine on Earth has done to us. And it's very understandable, but you have to override that, You have to override your nervous system with your consciousness. Which is not easy to do because that biology is going to want to kick in every time. But that's part of nervous system regulation. Okay? And I'm not asking you to have masculine traits that men have. Okay? I'm talking about divine masculine energy, healthy masculine energy. And as someone who was raised by an alpha male, a true divine masculine, I can tell you that having this energy, whether it's outside of you, like your partner, your brother, your dad, your grandpa, your uncle, or within you, your inner masculine, having this divine masculine hold you is so supportive to the feminine, and you will be 10 times more yourself when you can lean into it. Okay? Just be careful not to go into trap number 2 that I described, which is the overly masculine woman, because that's how we get burnt out. Okay? But chances are, if you resonate with me and my energy and my content, you're probably in the middle. Or maybe even you lean towards the softer side like I do, and that's okay. It's okay to have mostly feminine energy, but you need your masculine to support it. And in my linguistics, like in my jargon, I use the term dark feminine and inner masculine interchangeably. Like, I just think of my inner masculine as my dark feminine because that's how it's manifested for me, and it does for my students as well. And I'm going to make a separate episode about that, and I get into the biology of why I call it the dark feminine, inner masculine. We talk about just DNA and cells and reproductive systems and stuff and how it actually works. Because I think that using biology and evolution and anthropology as spiritual teaching points helps us to understand these principles a lot better. And y'all know I went to nursing school. I have a nursing background. I love nerding the fuck out. There is nothing more healing to me than nerding the fuck out. I love it. And if you need help with this, if this episode cracked something open in you, and you're feeling your huntress rise and want to come out, but you don't know how, then you're ready for the next step. and that is my dark feminine activation. And this is my signature activation. It's not a course, but it's an activation for women who are done being small and they're ready to step into their power fully. It's for women who are ready to awaken their womb energy, activate their magnetism, embody the huntress, step into their dark feminine fire, have better boundaries, all the things. Okay? If that resonates with you, go to sirensnectar.com/power to begin, because I promise you that your next evolution is waiting. And with my activations and my courses, you have lifetime access. Okay? But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for rising. Until next time, my loves. Stay powerful, stay feminine, and stay a huntress. Bye.